be here with you. Just noticing my feelings as I come into this virtual space. Most of us are sitting on the ancestral land and unceded and unsurrendered territory of the Mi'kmaq, the Maliseet Inuit people. And we give our deepest thanks to be here. I'm changing what I wanted to say. So I guess I'm feeling a deep sadness right now for what's going on, and want to share some resources and also invite Deborah Ross from the How We Thrive board to share a little bit, to read a statement if she's ready to do so.
Sure. Yes, on behalf of How We Thrive, I just wanted to say that we stand in solidarity with our Mi'kmaq sisters and brothers who are lawfully exercising their inherent right to fish and earn a moderate livelihood as conveyed by the 1752 Peace and Friendship Treaty and reaffirmed by the 1999 Supreme Court of Canada ruling of the Donald Marshall Jr. case. And if you would like to express your own solidarity and support, I'll post some links in the chat and you're welcome to do that. So thank you very much on behalf of the board of How We Thrive.
Thank you so much, Deborah. I did post, or Olu posted in the chat, some of the resources. Please add to them. And the document at the bottom, I want to link to and just share that was updated on October 22nd. So it's pretty up to date with what folks need down there. And also I want to point to, there are a number of articles at the bottom of that document that have kind of some of the narratives and explain the context in more detail. And there's a lot of information out there, and I found those ones particularly helpful. And those were sent from folks down there on the wharf. Anyway, thank you for that. Feeling very emotional. I'm going to turn it over to Fahima here to. Fahima, are you there?
Yeah, no, yes, I'm here. I'm just allowing a pause for what was just said before I move on to the liveliness of of the event, just to acknowledge the respect that that's occurring right now. So just give us like 5 seconds to make that transition from what was just heard to the narrative project, and then I can go full on. So just 5 seconds of just reflection, and then I'll make the transition as. Thank you. So thank you all for joining us. For those who are joining us for the first time, the Narrative Project came about as a way for people to explore their stories and narratives that they live by. We held our first session when the lockdown started in the spring, and this season, this session is the second session of the fall season. We're excited for season 2 of the Narrative Project. This session explores what happens when aspiring creatives are given a chance to build their own careers and opportunities, even when few exist in their own communities. There will be a time for you to remember and reflect on the power of passions and creative space in your life and the ingredients and moments that keep it alive. So now I'd like to invite Ryan to do an icebreaker. So Ryan, are you there? Are you ready?
Sure. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Awesome. So I'm so pumped to be here, and just to tell a little story myself, but especially to introduce you all to MAJE. So my story is a story coming from music and lots of other passionate areas, but I grew up playing trombone. Any brass players on here? maybe wave your fingers if you have ever played trumpet, French horn, tuba, trombone. Oh, I saw Rosalind. I saw a few. Okay, that's good. Okay, Kim, awesome. Okay, so one of the things, I kind of thought it was all going to be playing trombone and jumping around and being cool in bands when I was a kid, but then it turned out to be a lot of breathing and a lot of repetition. Anyway, so I just thought I would just lead us through a little bit of my old breathing exercises from playing trombone, but also, actually, yeah, maybe first I'll just do that for a minute, and then I have another little part I want to do. But yeah, so breathing when you're playing trombone or singing or when you're engaged in music is a lot like meditation practice or yoga or any of those practices that really involves breathing. And I've always found it's really helpful for me to transition into new spaces, online, offline, like the transitions that for me can be really hard, shifting from one gear to another. Yeah, and I find breathing really helps me get present. But maybe also to evoke a little bit about what we're talking about today, I'll just kind of guide us in a little bit of breathing, just some ins, some outs for certain amounts of time and holding your breath a little bit in a relaxed way. But while we're doing this, if you want to conjure up whatever comes to mind for you all first about a moment when you were completely as engaged as possible in feelings of passion, and that can be personal passion or passion with a lover or a passion in your life or a passion with a project or an opportunity or something that happened to you. But just go there in your mind and picture that a little bit and let yourself kind of be there, and feel free to close your eyes and if you like, and we'll transition from whatever you were just doing before this to being here with just picturing, imagining that while we breathe a little bit. Any questions? All right. Oh yeah, so maybe if you are sitting, slouching like I always do when I'm on these Zoom calls all day, maybe just plant your feet on the ground. If you're not in a very good seated position, feel free to stand up too if you want, if that's going to make you feel like you can really breathe in a little bit better. Just take a few medium breaths. Just loosen up. Just maybe roll your shoulders a little bit. You're about to play a big Bruckner concert on trombone in a big orchestra. That was my setting for this. I'm like, getting my body ready to do exercise and engage as a trombone player or a tuba player. Yeah, and then so maybe we'll just we're just gonna slowly breathe in lots of air, taking lots of air and fill all the way up over 4 beats, and we'll just hold your breath over 4 beats. When you hold your breath, just use your diaphragm to hold your body open. Don't close up your throat. Like you don't really need tension, right? To hold your breath, just let yourself be full, and then we'll let it out over a count of 8, and I'll just count us through that. Yeah, and remember when you're breathing, breathe from the bottom of your guts, from way deep down in your body. The bottom of your diaphragm does an amazing thing, and it can really pull in a lot of air. So breathe very deeply so you can fill up all those little bits of your lungs with some air. All right, yeah, so just over 4 beats, maybe tank all the way up to 100% air. And I will go 1, 2, 3, 4. And just peacefully hold this full of air, full of potential, full of tension for another 3 beats. 2, 3, and slowly and evenly let this out over 8 beats. 1, 2, 3, in a controlled way. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, until you're fully empty. We'll breathe in again for 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Same thing, just holding yourself open. Shouldn't be tension, you're full. There's lots of potential in all this breath, but you don't need our shoulders involved, right? You don't need our body super involved, just your lungs. And then we'll let that out over 4, or over 8 rather. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And stay empty for 1, 2, 3, 4, and then in over 4. 1, 3, 4. Stay tanked up for 4, and this time we're going to controllably let out our breath over 16 beats, very slowly in an even manner. 3, 4, and very slowly we'll begin to let out. 1, 2, just a little bit of air. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. And then in for 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And hold for 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And out for 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And in for 4. 1, 3, 4. And out for 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Maybe just on your own time now, just with those count, measured, even breaths, do your own routine, whatever feels good for you, of breathing in, holding peacefully for a minute and letting out. So just do your own counting, whatever makes sense for your breath right now. Remember, as relaxed as possible. You don't need your body involved in music in any way except for your lungs and your mind. All right, maybe one more cycle. All right, it felt good to close my eyes, get a little bit of closing from all this screen time. And just one last thing I'll just invite us to do before we start talking and sitting here for a while. I was asked the other day to suggest what kind of innovations we need to be focusing on for a social change project for future social innovators and that kind of thing. And like right now, what's one of the most important things for us to do? And I was thinking about the fact that one of the reasons we're on Zoom is so we can connect so easily using technology, but another reason is to stay safe, because being in person is one of the ways that we can all get sick right now. So the prescription for COVID in many ways is sitting down a lot in front of a computer for many of us. And so I just reminding myself, and I was in my answer to this person was like, we need to really make sure we deal with the side effects of the treatments for COVID. So one of them is sitting down staring at a computer all day. So if we can disrupt that in any way by standing up more, moving around and flexing. So even during this call, please feel free to stand up and walk around. You don't need to have your pretty face stuck in this little box the entire time. Lie down. If you can hear us, you can still participate. So just take a minute or two and stand up, stretch, walk around, or if you're in the car, lean your seat back. But just kind of let's just be in the space a little bit more than little pictures. We don't need to be these little pictures the whole time. Yeah, so just move around a bit and remind yourself that we're not stuck in this little box. If you're feeling dancey, you want to inspire some people. Not that I'm going to inspire you with my dance, but move around, share a bit, get a bit of movement. We just had 3 coffees, so I'm going to be moving around a bit. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, so just a reminder throughout the call, feel free, unless it's disrupting our communication somehow. If you can still hear us, move around the room. If you're wearing pajama pants, remember to turn off. If you don't want to show up in your pajamas, remember to turn off your screen first. Okay, 12:20. That's about how long it's supposed to take, I think. Or Fahima, what's next?
So actually, I will pass it on to Duncan, who will lead our check-in.
Hey everyone. So you've seen some of the gorgeous strangers on the call. Next, we're going to invite you to jump into a breakout room and meet some other folks. We invite you to share something of what you're looking forward to in your next, in your days, something that keeps you going, keeps you grounded, feeds you as part of your daily practice, really whatever bubbles up for you. And so Olu, or one of us, is going to put us into groups. And I just put in the chat kind of the invitation of what to share with the group. And we'll come back in 15 minutes. So yeah, enjoy your time together, and we'll see you soon.
Hello.
Okay. Everybody, is everyone back? Not quite. There we go. I think that's everyone. I'm still bubbling from our conversation. So next up, I'm going to ask Ryan and MAJE to share. And first thing we're going to do is interview and welcome Ryan here. So Ryan Veltmeyer, who is a musician, as you may have figured out from the breathing exercise. And Ryan helps young artists at Youth Art Connect, which I think he founded, grow their own arts-based businesses and social impact projects. And Youth Art Connect hosts hubs and festivals and public forums that empower young artists who are facing financial and social barriers. So welcome, Ryan. Is there anything else you wanted to say about YAC before we get into some moment story sharing?
No, that's a pretty good summary.
It's like you wrote it or something like.
I shouldn't share too much either, otherwise I'll just take up all the time telling stories. So I better stick to the script.
So I asked Ryan to take us to a moment where you're in your element, where your spirits are lifted, a moment of creativity. So we're just going to ask you to take us to that moment today.
Yes, sure. And I got 7 minutes, right?
Yeah. Tell us what happened, who was there.
Thank you. And Duncan, please rein me in if I go off on a tangent, because one of the side effects of passion is that you can talk about things for hours. But I thought I want to go back to a moment, and I actually have a picture to share. I don't know if I have permission to share or not, but I'll share a picture in a little bit about a related moment. But so the moment I was thinking about was kind of one of the birth moments for Youth Art Connection. So I did co-found Youth Art Connection with Ann Denny in 2011, I guess, so almost 10 years ago. When you found something like that, it's not like we had this big premeditated plan, and we just had these like constant ideas that were popping up, largely because I was working with like some youth in Spryfield in a community in Halifax after school doing arts projects. Oh, thank you, Olu. I'll share that in a second. And I just kept, I'm a summer camp kid. I guess I should just back up just for a little bit of context. So I grew up going to summer camp my whole life, as well as being a musician. So those are my two things that drove me every day. So eventually, through this after school program, I realized that you can do art and music as youth engagement. And I think I'd been in therapy a year or two before, pretty depressed and lost and trying to figure out what to do with my life. I was about 27 at that time. And my therapist at one point, just gave me this advice of, asking me about what was giving me energy and making me happy. And I was talking about the Heartwood Center where I worked where I didn't work yet at that time, I was volunteering. And she said, I think you should just spend as much time around there as possible and find any excuse to just be there. And I really took that to heart, and that's kind of been my guiding principle ever since for all of my work life and my life is if it feels good, just be around it, and then you'll figure out the skills you need later. The plane can come, just follow your gut. So that's kind of how YAC started. And there's this one moment in particular where I'd been at a national conference in Toronto for National Youth Arts Week, and I had met all these organizations that did art and youth community engagement kind of stuff. And then that's kind of where I saw it was possible. And that set a fire off inside me. And then we had this amazing moment where I had met the director of the Michael Jean Foundation, and she happened to be in town. The Governor General Michael Jean happened to be in town fundraising for her legacy project for being Governor General, the Michael Jean Foundation. And so somehow they gave us a chance just to put together a small gathering with Madame Jean and 7 or 8, maybe it's up to 10 organizations working with youth in art. So like I Move was one of them, like Sobas Benjamin, Tara Taylor, who does, she was doing the Charles P. Taylor Theater at the time, or I can't remember exactly what her business was called, but Shantae Grant, all these like fantastic artists working with community and youth. So I guess this little moment when all this somehow just came together, and again, this wasn't a premeditated plan, it directly led to youth, to YAC becoming a charity within days actually. But we're all, has anyone ever been to the old Khyber building? Did anyone have a chance to experience that place?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I'm gonna put myself back on gallery view so I can see the hands. So this is an old building, very high ceilings. And if you want to go there, if you haven't been there, just picture a very big, old, beautiful Victorian style room, quite tall ceilings. It was an art gallery. It was used as an art gallery pretty often. So I don't know, not great dimensions, but probably 30 feet high, 20 feet high, something like that. Big open room, really creative space, beautiful, but also kind of gritty and old. Sitting in a big circle with all these excited youth and community organizations, every single one of them led by people who are super passionate about art and about youth. And all of us there to meet someone who is so famous as Michael Jean, who really cared about, she really cares still to this day about youth and about art, and sees them as the people that we need to put in the front of everything in order to create change in the world, right? Because of their vision, because they can see solutions to problems, and they're creative, they know the answers. And she really taught me that a lot later. But yeah, so at that moment, just going with the energy, we're all there, all these people have said yes to meet within 48 hours. So this opportunity had come up, yeah, within less than 48 hours, and every single person said yes and came. Mike Hirschbach from Circus Circle, if anyone knows him. So we had like circus kids in the room, hip hop kids, visual artists, poets. It was the most amazing thing. We went around, and none of the staff, none of the executive directors, none of the coaches, adults, teachers were allowed to speak. So we prioritized the voices of all the youth. They talked about themselves, their art practices, and then about the organization they were there with. So everything was in their words. We did that intentionally to strategically butt out all of us who would have been trying to position ourselves and brand ourselves, and just let that youth authentic voice speak. And that was such an amazing 1 hour. Each young person talking from their heart, juggling, reading poets, reading poems, showing their music, being witnessed by someone with so much power, who was so famous, all of us together looking at each other from community that it's not like that sector of people ever get together, right? So you're with everyone in that room, I'd say, was inspired me, completely surrounded by inspiring people, maybe intimidating people. Just sharing with the old musty smell of like kind of dust and, soon to be condemned building that we were in. Doug, is there the next question, the next cue for me? I know I'm almost finished, but I just want to see if maybe there's something I should add to take us there.
What gifts did you take from that moment?
Yeah, so I guess the gifts that it gave me was realizing that if you just followed all that energy and just pour yourself into things without fear, like things can happen. Like 2 days to organize a big event with a governor general, like I probably wouldn't plan on doing that right now. I wouldn't think, oh, that makes sense. but that is 100% how everything started for me. And that was one of the big moments when I learned that, oh, you know, this can't happen, this will never happen, that's unlikely, all that kind of thinking about the big list of problems, why something can't be done. Most of the time, I think if you follow your passion and your gut, that often ends up not being true. And your perfectly laid plan won't flow as you thought, but incredible things you never even thought could happen will happen. I learned that lesson again all the time, every day from MAJE and plenty of people who remind me not to overthink, not to plan, not to get discouraged, but just to give in to trust and following passion like that. Yeah, and we followed her right after that to a fundraiser at McGinnis Cooper Law Firm. And then on the spot, with all that energy and passion going, they offered to help us incorporate this thing, getting artists together, supporting them, making things happen. And we were incorporated not-for-profit within a month and a registered charity within a year. All because we just followed our guts and followed our nose and just followed the ideas of youth and the opportunity with Madame Jean. I'll just show a little picture. So this is a year or two later, actually. So this is a little bit later. But this is a lot like what that moment felt like with her. Hopefully you can see it.
Yeah.
Right. So just all that energy. This obviously like this is in Ottawa. We went to follow up with her after and visit at one of the conferences that she was running. These are all young people from across Canada, and Cavell there who came with us from Nova Scotia dancing. He was getting down. He was doing hip hop dance to Madame Jean's Haitian inspired dance, and it was such a beautiful moment. But that picture for me, in a lot of ways, just kind of something. I'm in the background with my pink phone, nerdily taking pictures. But this, I don't know. This is what passion feels like to me, right? And plans don't always get you here. I don't think, like, just your gut and following your instincts, and just seeing what happens creates these beautiful moments like this. And dance, right? Like, it's really important they were dancing there. They weren't in a conversation. They weren't networking. They were dancing, right? Which is also networking, and it is a conversation, but it's so much more. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, I could talk. We talk much more, obviously, but maybe later as a follow-up sometime.
All the time. First time I met Ryan was in a yurt, and we talked for like 4 hours at a party.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so thanks, Ryan. I'm still kind of soaking that in. We're gonna share a video here, a small intro video of Yak and MAJE. Do you or MAJE want to say anything about it before we show it?
Well, MAJE, I don't know if you have anything to say about that. Like, honestly, this video, there's an organization called Culture Days that celebrates art and culture happening across Canada, and they just reached out to us and wanted to do a profile and a story. And again, I think I was out of town, and I just called one of the most reliable, creative, intuitive people I knew. MAJE, like, MAJE, can you do this video? And so really, this was just a result of this videographer and MAJE telling his story and Yak's story a little bit about the hub. Do you have anything to add, Michael, MAJE?
Yeah, that's pretty much it. The first time I actually seen the end result was in the movie theater, so that was pretty cool. But yeah.
It's great. It'll give you a little snapshot both into the hub that MAJE runs at Youth Art Connection, but also how that really intersects with who he is. Yeah, that's a pretty important thing for me at Yak too, is that people keep their own identity, their own businesses, even when they're working with us, that people own their own stuff.
Cool. Ready to go? Is the video ready to go, Olu?
Words to me. I write down how I feel. I write down what I see. I write down what I hear. Anything that really dictates the way I think or the way I see things. I put it in song form. Sometimes it comes out as a melody. Sometimes it comes out as a poem. It's always through like words though in music. Music just makes me happy. That's all I know. Everywhere you go, people have their headphones in. And so they're listening to something that, you know, makes them happy, inspires them, brings out an emotion. For us, it's been hip hop and R&B.
You know who I am, not everybody gets that. Why would I pretend? This time will never get back. Put in all the work, back when I was jobless. Girls in my phone, but I was always honest. Now you wanna leave, claiming you got baggage. Read you like a book, we on different pages. Say you need a change, but you won't like the changes. All over the gram, like you wanna be famous. Take you on a trip.
My name is MAJE. I'm a hip-hop artist hailing from East Preston. This is my story. East Preston is a predominantly black neighborhood on the outskirts of Dartmouth, Nova Scotia. To be a young black artist in Halifax, it's truly a burden. It's really hard actually, because this isn't a city that really appreciates black culture on a level where the rest of the world does. You're kind of just out here trying to figure it out on your own, really. Youth Art Connection is a non-for-profit that helps young artists find ways to get paid for their art, basically. When it was first starting up, I was one of the first people that they worked with. It helped me a lot with my confidence as an artist. When Yak instilled in me the skills and the knowledge that I needed, it really helped me believe in what I was doing because I was now doing it as a business and not just as a hobby. The program I do is a Wednesday night hub. Musicians, songwriters, dancers, visual artists, any kind of artist that you could think of is welcome there. These young people are coming to me to figure out what's next for them. I may not know it because I'm not in that field, but I would definitely know somebody that's in that field, and we can bring that person in and get them to do a workshop, get them to personally mentor that person. You know, so like Youth Art Connection is kind of like a connector. It's like a hub where like, you know, you put this person with this person and then it creates like this kind of magic.
Thanks, Kim, for this invitation. So I'm going to pass the mic over to Ryan and MAJE. Ryan, you there?
Yeah, I'm just grabbing those questions. Yeah, okay. So I get to interview MAJE, which is probably one of my favorite things to do anyway. I feel like we interview each other all day anyway when we're working together. But yeah, MAJE, so I mean, in my story, my uncertainty was really that I had no plan, just went with my gut, and how amazing it turned into something. But do you want to tell us, bring us to a moment for you when you were being driven by passion, perhaps with some elements of uncertainty around?
Well, last year really, since that's like still fresh in my mind. So I entered a competition put on by Casino Nova Scotia and Music Nova Scotia, and it was the Artist in Residency program. Also, can everyone hear me? Am I good? Is my volume good? All right. So I had just come back from Atlanta on a residency that my manager hooked up. And I think that was the beginning of like me getting back on my feet as an artist, because prior to that, I haven't released anything and I was having the hardest time like creating, like for 3 years prior to that. My last project was released in 2017, and like after that, I just went into a deep like dive of anxiety and like uncertainty and like just confusion. So going to Atlanta, I made a promise to myself before I went that I was just gonna, like let loose, like just be a student again, like, like really start from scratch, like when it came to songwriting, when it came to like, because I get really homesick. So that was a big deal. So I was gonna be there for like a month and some. So I made a promise to myself to just take it all in and just be like, just be a traveler, just be like a student, just be like someone that just adapts to their energy, like right then and there. So that's exactly what I did. I had an amazing time. I learned a lot by just letting loose. I'm not really a person that lets loose. I like certainty and I like knowing what's gonna happen. I like having a plan, but I learned a lot by just letting loose. So when I was leaving, there's actually a video of me like really like sad faced that my manager has of me leaving like for the airport to leave Atlanta. I was super sad. And my manager was like, if you want to come back here, you're gonna have to find some money. Because at that point, I made a decision to be a full-time artist and didn't really have a financial plan. So she was like, if you want to come back here, you have to find money. So I came back to Halifax and I entered um, this competition that happens every year. I knew about it. And it's a $20,000 prize for like an artist and uh the casino of Nova Scotia, like you do some shows for them, they give you money and they like just help you put out a project, like because for artists it's always like the financial part that's like the biggest burden. So like where's this money coming from for this great idea? So I entered the competition. There was like a few rounds and like things that you had to get by, and I kept getting by them all. Like there was an interview, there was an actual like you just had to send them like your plan, and then there was a voting process, and I just kept getting by every part, and I was like kind of confident, but also at the same time in the back of my mind is like, if I lose this, I'm a very sore loser, so that could affect the rest of my career as an artist. So I practiced really hard. I tried to come up with as many like, what I mean, like unique ways to approach my songs, because sometimes as a rapper, yeah, there's an expectation for you. It's like, oh, he's just gonna rap and that's it. So I was like, well, what if I rapped over like live instruments? What if I did like acapellas? Like, what if I switched it up? Because the most important thing to me and my gift is my writing ability and the words that I have to say. So um, right up until that point, I was practicing really hard, anxiety every day, thinking about like what happens if I don't come out on top like this, because I know I would say losses. I would take losses in a different way than most people. And I've always been that way. So I know that about myself. So the day comes that, it's time to, because the last element was you had to perform, and then they would announce the winner after the performances. So it's performance time, and I'm super anxious. I brought I brought my family there, I brought all my friends, I needed all the support I could get. I brought everybody there. I'm moving like from one person to the next, just telling them how like nervous I am, and like basically in tears. And all this nervousness, like it built up and it built up and it built up. And the moment they called my name to get on stage to perform, it all went away. I looked at my brother and I was like, this is what I do. So I got on stage and like I just let loose. There was even a part of my performance that didn't go as we practiced it, and I just kept going. And that just comes from like just having a faith and a belief in what I was doing, that apparently I didn't have like 5 minutes ago prior to that. But there it was, it showed up. They're only supposed to take 30 minutes after the performances were done to announce the winner. they took almost an hour. So that was like one of the longest hours of my life, of course. But yeah, they eventually announced my name. I cried. But it also was validation for me. That's what it really was. It was validation that this was what I was meant to do because of how important it was to me to win or to lose or to be in like a bad situation or a good situation based on like music. So yeah, they're telling me my time's running up. But yeah, that I think that was the moment like in my life where it was like there was uncertainty, but there was also a lot of passion. And yeah, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much for sharing, MAJE. So the next thing we're going to do is invite everybody to go into groups of 3. If you've been on this call before, you know that we love to put people into groups of 3. And we're inviting you to take us to a moment in your group where you felt your creative juices flowing, or felt passionate about something you're doing. Maybe it was a time of uncertainty. What happened in that moment? Who was there? And we're inviting you to really take your group mates to a moment. We can learn from any moment. So whatever moment bubbles up is the moment to share, or maybe it's the second one that bubbles up for you. And we're gonna spend, I think we're gonna have to adjust our timeline here. So we're gonna spend 5 minutes each sharing our moments. Although if you can adjust that in the chat. And we're gonna send you a note every 5 minutes so that you know when to switch to the next person. Welcome back, everyone. Thank you, Janet. You got cut off there, but I heard you. Yeah, Fahima is just messaging me right now. Yeah, so maybe we could take like a minute to share our thoughts, what struck you or bubbled up in the chat, and then we'll have some music from MAJE. Running a little bit behind, so we won't have as much time for this chat.
Lots of really great reflections.
Since we're running a bit late here, Ryan and MAJE, are you guys ready to go with the music setup? And do you want to maybe start and people can continue to share the reflections after and the performance? Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, sounds good. I was just moving the computer around to have a good shot so we can stand up and perform.
Sure. There's like the light is the reflecting on from the ceiling is reflecting like on the computer. So it looks like a black hole opening or something. It's like, so yeah, if you like lowered it or something, or yeah, that's better.
They cut my head off. Yeah, they put it right there.
Turn off the lights.
There's a ceiling light maybe. Well, yeah, I mean, if you get that close, then that's totally fine. It's just where you were standing in the back, right? It was like, there. Yeah.
No, that's good. That's good. That's
Okay, your head's cut off though.
That's okay.
Okay, cool. Okay, perfect.
yeah, right here.
Good, good.
Oh. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
There's an echo.
You gotta turn off the sound on your
a
phone.
reverb or something like this.
All right. Is that better?
Just hang up your phone.
Okay, we good now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Lighting's good too.
All right, guys. Here we go.
Is everybody on mute?
What is it doing? We have till 1:30, you said?
Yeah, it's not a hard stop. You can still like,
Okay.
you know what I mean? If anybody needs to leave at 1:30, please feel free to do so, but just share as long as like you want to for that song period.
Hey, making all your own money, so I know you won't need mine. We should get us matching watches, think about it all the time. While I'm working, she be twerking, she don't do it for the vine. Do it for the realest one. One time, think it's better when you know. So baby girl, I'm telling ya, all my exes wanna know why, but I don't do no algebra. Baby, we just wanna ball and they ain't reaching our level. Where you sticking by my side and you don't even need Velcro. Tells me everything I need. 1, 2 step, I'll take the lead. People sleeping on the both of us cause we chasing a dream, but I'm down, all the way down. Ain't no in between. You the realest, no one realer. You the realest, no one realer. And you gon' make me forget all of us together. You gon' make me forget all of us together. You gon' make me forget all of us together. Yeah. So as a young guy, I had a crush on the R&B singer Sierra, and I've always swore I was gonna make a song about it. Let's be honest, body party, have you seen that video? Ain't she working way too perfect? Yeah, she do it like a pro. Young player, steady crushing, but you came through on the low. Held it down from the beginning, front row at every show. Take it to another level, are we ready for that yet? Keep a young player in check, now we collecting all the checks. You be rocking with James Harden, and you know I rock LeBron. When the Rockets play the Lakers, baby girl, you know it's on. Keep it real like all my people, so I know that it's legit. You was always down the road and I ain't even said a pic, so we on.
We on. No, we gone. Yeah, and you gon' make me forget all of us, Sierra. You gon' make me forget all of us, Sierra. You gon' make me forget all of us, Sierra. You gon' make me forget all of us, Sierra. Forget all of us, Sierra. Forget all of us, Sierra. Yeah. Forget. So that's that one. I'll do one more. If I could find it.
That was great.
Thank you. This one, a little slower. This might be loud too. Shout out to my boy Matthew on here and Dan. Both of them are on this call as well. And one is a producer and one is a songwriter. So yeah, good friends of the hub too. Oh yeah, and Kenzie. Look at me doing shout outs. Ryan, why is this taking so long?
I don't know. Is it downloading?
Yeah, but I don't know why it's supposed to just play. This would be a great time to be a comedian. I don't have any jokes for y'all.
You could do it a cappella, you know?
You know what? This is facts. I could. And it actually suits this song.
I just say technology, it's great when it works.
Uh-huh. Yeah. All right, I think we're good. No, we're not. That's not it. Ron, I sent you the wrong one. All right, so I'm just gonna do it a cappella. It goes, oh, that's what I look like?
I have you on another channel.
It goes, it's your time, your time, your time. It's your time to shine. I know you've been looking for some real peace of mind. You feel like your heart is broken. You can have a peace of mind. Can't wipe away history, but we can wipe away tears. They gave us a month. Let's celebrate all year. Don't let them interrupt. Don't let them interfere. Stigmas won't disappear, but we ain't going anywhere. We kings and queens, you know how we get down. So wear that afro like a crown and don't let them tell your story, because you know that they'll leave things out and throw shade on the potential that we bring out. Want you to keep quiet and just play your part. I know the system don't love you, but keep loving your heart. So even when it's going down, just like Jock said, you got to keep your head up, just like Pac said. Yeah. Horrible that it sucks that I didn't have the music, but yeah.
Oh, that's smooth, man. I felt that.
No, that was good. That was
singing.
good. You got your message.
Oh, yeah.
You
Yeah.
know? I mean, it's all about being on your feet, quick on your feet, and you were. So that's an artist.
Definitely. I
Thank
appreciate you
Maje.
all.
I appreciate
Thanks,
you.
Maje.
This is
That
this
was-
is this has been a great
Thank you.
opportunity.
That was really showing us how to just be and just do that.
Which is super important. Yeah.
Yep.
Awesome. Thank you.
So now I would just like to remind everybody that we do have our next session on November 5th, and we will email you the details. But I did want to invite Ryan to talk about how you can support Yak. So Ryan, if you just wanted a quick spiel on how people can support Yak.
Yeah, thank you. So just one, right now what we're trying to do is reopen our hub, like where artists can meet and connect, and we figured out our COVID protocols. We're reopening and rebuilding, and we are fundraising for that, and looking for other kinds of support and volunteerism as well. But if you are able to help out money-wise, I think Duncan has the link, but it's just youthartconnection.ca/donations. And that pretty much goes directly to help me pay for MAJE and for other artists to be able to spend time to make this space open and available to other artists, and occasional snacks and that kind of thing. Yeah, and then otherwise, if you want to get involved and help out in other ways, always looking for volunteers, of course, like every not-for-profit, for board members or events and that kind of thing. You can also, on the website, you'll find a place under Get Involved, I think, at youthartconnection.ca. So yeah, that's our call to action if you can help. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's a great organization. Thank you, Ryan. Thank you, MAJE, for joining us. And
Thank
you
you.
everybody for joining us. And just as a check out, if you wanted to type one word in the chat about how you're feeling about this call, that would be really great. And hopefully I'll get to see you all again on November 5th. Bye.
That was great to see your face, Ryan.
You too, Omi. Are you in Cape Breton?
Oh yeah, I'm at the public library at Marguerite Forks, bumming off their Wi-Fi because mine gets installed tomorrow.
Oh, cool. We're starting Wednesday nights.
Yes.
Whenever you're back.
Well,